Now is the only time. Oh, now is the only time. Here's where we live our lives, where choices are made. We fall or we climb. Now is the only time. Now is the only time. Here's where we live our lives, where choices are made. We fall or we climb. Now is the only time. Now is the only real time.
Now is the only time. The choices we make. We fall or we climb. I want to thank the Sangha for carrying through with and practicing the Bodhisattva and Bodhicitta exercises that we've been working on every Tuesday. I want to commend you for the work that you've done. Now, how do I know that there was work done? If you remember in the news, there was an experience in a synagogue where a woman stepped in front of the rabbi to intercept a bullet that the shooter was bringing to the holy place. And recently down in Charlotte, a young man stepped in front of a bullet. Now this is new. This isn't something that has been happening every day. This is a new experience because we've had a lot of terrorism, domestic terrorism, throughout the year. But only recently have we had the heroes and sheroes that have climbed up and effected a different measure of love and compassion, a higher bar to aspire to. And the only reason, in my opinion, that is manifesting itself is because of the love and the compassion that all of you have been generating, and all of the others around the world have been generating, to try to make this a different place. Now, the truth is that now is the only time, because now is the only time you can make a choice. You can put forth karma. But now is not the time in the face of crisis is not the time to stand up and be counted. You've got to train for that. You've got to prepare for that. And so, today I'm going to ask each of you, which one of the bodhicitta experiences would most help you? And you don't have to articulate it out loud if you don't want to. But I'm going to read each one, because it is necessary for us to practice standing up before we stand up. It is a very difficult thing to do, to put yourself in harm's way, when it's a lot easier to crawl or run to another part of the building or run out the door. It's very difficult to make that decision without preparing for it, without training for it. The first bodhicitta exercise is understanding who my mother is. And it says, I deeply understand that all living beings in the 6 realms of reincarnation within the 3 spheres of the universe have been since beginningless time my fathers, my mothers, in the revolving cycle of reincarnation. Now the only thing, or the thing that I took away from this and brought into my own basket was, out of all of the people that we can decide to rescue, to sacrifice ourselves for, the easiest one is mother. Now in scripture, it says, no greater love has a man than one who lays down his life for his friend. No greater love has a person than one who lays down their life for a friend. But before we can get to the friend bit, we've got to get past the mother bit. If we can't lay down our lives for our mother, we're not going to lay them down for a friend. There's this connection that's there whether we want it to be there. That in our thoughts and our processes, we don't think about the fact that we've had many mothers, because we don't think about reincarnation. We think about now. We think about this life. And we think about, who do I identify most with in this life? Who do I care the most about in this life? So, saying that I identify this person that I'm trapped with, that I'm being shot at with, as my mother, then it'll be a lot easier for me to get up and stand in front of her or him when there are bullets flying around. So, understanding who my mother is. The next, bearing in mind kindness. And I should bear in mind, I should deeply bear in mind all of my parents that have given birth to me, reared me, loved me, become tired and ill for me. Their kindness to me is as heavy as a mountain. I should bear in mind their kindness. So maybe this is one that you can anchor yourself with and be inspired by. I don't know. It's up to you. But I'm saying that without that inspiration, without that exercise, that training of finding who is the most important to you, who would you take the bullet for? Without meditating on that, you will always fall short of the greatest love that you can give a person. Now, understanding that, well, let me finish reading and then I'll say something about that. Now, the next one is repaying kindness. It says, I resolve to take action to enlighten myself and others, to serve and liberate my parents in order to repay their kindness to me. I am loving and kind toward all beings who have been my parents. I wish them a long life without illness, good fortune, good luck, and a happy life. Now that one might inspire you. It says, the next is compassion. Day and night, I constantly beseech all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to empower all of my parents so that they can extricate themselves from all forms of suffering, encounter and practice the Bodhidharma, and to liberate themselves from the suffering of cyclic existence. Eliminating attachment In my practice, as I cultivate all forms of goodness and benefit my parents, all living beings, I should not become attached to any Dharma. I should eliminate all attachment to self. Now this is one that of course will free us up. Because if we're not concerned with protecting ourselves, then it'll be a lot easier to give ourselves up, to make that ultimate sacrifice. Now here's something to think about. I don't know, the picture came to me, or a truth came to me. And that is, do you feel, or don't you feel, that the person who was saved by the heroic act of sacrifice, do you feel that from that moment, from that now, when a stranger, when an ultimate stranger stepped in front of them and intercepted a missile that would have killed them, but instead killed the stranger, wouldn't most people, even the laziest people, be inspired to live a better life, to make something out of what's left in their life, to be inspired by the person who stepped in front of them? So that process, that exercise, that training, that doing will ultimately encourage anyone who has that experience, anyone who has been saved by someone else's actions, and the other person gave their life. Now you don't jump up saying, I want to die, but you realize that you might. And that shouldn't hold you back. That shouldn't keep you, but it'll keep most people from making that action, from taking that action. But you don't want any of that to get in your way, because we're all impermanent anyway. So what, or wouldn't it be a great experience? Of course, right now we're saying, no, that wouldn't be a great experience to die. But wouldn't it be a great experience to be the one who motivates the one who doesn't see the importance of the now, who doesn't see the importance of love and compassion, who thinks that they've got another day? One of the Sangha members brought a cartoon in, a Snoopy cartoon in. And it was the dog on the doghouse, as the dog usually is on the doghouse. And one of the little birds came up and talked to him in little bird language. And the translation was that he asked the dog to teach him how to dance. And so the dog did his thing on the birdhouse. And then after the bird jumped down and left, the dog said, I hope I helped him. He says, but waiting 10 minutes before the dance starts to learn how to dance, I don't know. And so my conversation with you today is that even though we've only got just the now, the now is the time to get started, not the time to wait. And the realization is that at the time that all of the confusion and fear are occurring around you, is not the time to find your bravery, to find your love and compassion for those around you. You've got to find that now, so that when that time comes, if it comes for you, if it's your calling to usher forth that great love, that there's no hesitation, because you You've already seen it. You've already practiced it. You already know what to do and how to do it. Most of us truly believe that, that'll never happen. I'll never be involved in anything like that. But we see that it's a commonplace thing now. Violence, domestic terrorism, is commonplace now. You never know. But 10 minutes before the dance is not the time to practice. So, fortify yourself. Continue to practice your bodhisattva practices. But now it's an even higher level of training. Because now, instead of just giving love to the world, giving kindness and compassion, contributing to the power, to the pulsation of compassion and great love, you are now volunteering to be one of the antidotes to fear and darkness and violence. Because the thing that happens, or what I felt and I observed in those two instances where those two individuals stepped in front of a bullet for a stranger, well, one wasn't a stranger, one was the rabbi, but the other was a student that didn't know the other student. And you know that to be a part of that experience, to be the one that steps up to save, to love a person so much, to take their place, is just amazing. And again, to make the person feel so special, feel so loved, and be inspired by that love to go out and do great things. So think about it. Choose one. Choose the one that will make it as easy for you as possible to be the one that stands up for love and for compassion. Notice that it wasn't about standing up to be armed and to intervene in that type of way. It was just to say, hey, take me instead. I'm going to replace this person. I'm going to let you do to me what you were thinking about doing to them. Don't want a gun. Don't want a weapon. Just want you to choose me. And how powerful that is, and how meaningful it makes the whole experience. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I think the second option was liberating oneself and liberating another. How do you liberate another?
Well, the second one is bearing in mind kindness, and I should deeply bear in mind all of the time given to me at birth, that they reared me, they loved me, and they became tired and ill for me.
Not that one.
Not that one?
No, maybe the next one.
Repaying kindness. It says, I resolve to take action to enlighten myself and others.
Yes. How do you enlighten others or liberate them?
It is my opinion that every time we do something loving and kind, we chip away at the blindness of others, the dullness of others. which contributes to their liberation, which contributes to their growth. As we choose to walk our day and interact with others, they learn. So that's how you do that. You do that by setting an example. You do that by stepping in front of the bullet. You do that by showing people how to live, how to love, how to care. And that will enlighten them, because they'll go, oh, it's easy to think that it's easy for one who is already steeped in Scripture, has a holy life or is a holy being, that whatever they do, whatever sacrifices they make, are easy for them to do. But one who feels ordinary is inspired by the extraordinary. It's inspired by the person who just looks just like them, and they can look at them and say, if they can do it, if they can stand up and take a bullet, so can I. Without hating, without wanting to arm myself. If they can do it without fear, if they can do it with love and compassion, then so can I. So our ordinariness in the midst of extraordinary things will inspire other people to take the break off and to be the best that they can be. They won't hold back, because then they will be inspired. They'll have an incentive to act accordingly, to act wholly, to act lovingly and compassionately. So that's what I see.
So one time I was praying, and I heard this question posed to me, and it was, could you lay down your life for a friend? And I thought to myself, yeah, I think I can. And then that same voice that posed the question said to me, laying down your life is easy, because that's a snap decision, snap judgment. You didn't have time to ponder on it, sleep on it, count up the cost. It was a instantaneous, decision. He said, so that's easy. Can you live for a friend? And that's not hard to do, because as long as you are alive, it's never ending. The giving of oneself until one has given oneself completely away, and that comes through our continual commitment. It's a commitment one makes to make oneself available to others until one completely forgets about self. So laying down our life for a friend, wonderful. But we can do that by every day, every moment, laying down something for a friend. When we read about that young man, that's all they had were glowing things to say about him, how helpful he was, how he'd come forward to do things. And so we train bit by bit. What do we lay down in the course of a day for another? And so this encouragement, those 7 are about seeing others, if not more valuable, because they talk about your mother, but at least equally as valuable. But right now we see others as less valuable. And so it takes time, but we do have to do it. And I could ask that question in here. There's some people who really feel like this is a place where we are waking up or enlightening beings. But it takes something for this to happen, from cleaning to paying the bills. But some people come in and out for 5 years without straightening a chair, without watering a flower, without putting a penny in the donor bowl, without even speaking. Some people don't even speak, But there are others who step forward every day, and they're doing. That's the one that if I am in a situation, I hope they're with me. But whether they are or not, even the other one, I take a bullet.
I agree with what you're saying, but it's like people set examples without even wanting to set examples, or that's not that they set examples, that's their choice in their life. And when you look at that person, even though they might acknowledge that, wow, you're really doing a good thing or whatever, just seeing them, just being aware of what they do without maybe you not even knowing about it is a way of acknowledging that your path is kind of the path that I want to take, but it's just going to take me maybe maybe I'm slower at getting there. But I think that those people who walk that path sets an example for everybody else. And maybe sometimes the person who's walking that path isn't, just walks that path. Mm-hmm. And as the person who wants to get there sees it, maybe doesn't, as long as you do it, as long as you're walking that path for the other people, that's it, I think. And I hope that I could do that someday.
Yeah. Well, there's a condition in walking the path that you don't tout that you're walking the path, that you're a holy being, that you are doing something that others have a difficult time to do. So you become detached from your karma. You let it go. As good as it might be, as holy as it might be, it's just another day in the now. Okay? So you're absolutely right.
So Amy, you're a great example of that person. You step into it every day. It ain't fun most of the days. And you do it for the reason of the possibility of people becoming liberated here.
Okay. So everyone has the one that they want to focus on that will give them the inspiration to do whatever is necessary to do in the moment, right? So I don't have to go back over them again because you've all been working on them, except for a few. Have all been working on them every day, if not at least every Tuesday. Well, let's go inside and focus on the aspiration that we most want to hold on to and inspire us with.
So in our closing song, I would like to ask you to please receive this song, not as a form of entertainment, but rather as a contemplation. And the question I would invite you to entertain is, the name of the song is Mercy Now. And the question, the inner question I invite you to entertain is, how might I become the portal for that mercy and that compassion to come into this suffering world? We hang in the balance, dangled between hell and hallowed ground. And every single one of us could use some mercy now. Oh, every single one of us could use some mercy now. Every single one of us could use some mercy, mercy